Yo, VP here. If you haven't joined the team, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button, get notified, and join the squad. Hero up. Let's go! Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So, if you're here for chapter 45 of Dandadan, or Dandadan, depending on how you pronounce it. No judgment, baby, alright? To each their own. But if you're here for chapter 45, let me tell you, while the chapter, it really wasn't terrible, but there really wasn't too much action going on anyway. We did get some eventful things, but in terms of the traditional fights that we've come to know and love, not much this week. So other than that, I'm going to run the intro, then I'll get into it.
Like, share, subscribe. HCB2 World.
Alright, so to start things off, we pick up right where we left off last week. Last week, Momo was able to trick the worm into coming to the surface, so essentially she could kill it, you know. In order to be able to do that, she had to recall a memory of her and Gigi, where Gigi explained how worm breathing works. You know, she explained that worms breathe through their skin, and in times when it rains, they really can't breathe, and so they come to the surface, and unfortunately, they end up drying out due to the sun. He called that worm suicide, and she applied the same kind of tactic in this scenario. And what she did was she set fire to the house, which then triggered the fire department to come. By the fire department coming, she was able to get access to that water, and she tried to get them to, you know, she's like, screw the fire, don't worry about the fire, spray the ground. By doing so, she was essentially able to suffocate the great worm, and as the worm came to the surface, the sun dried it out. Boom, worm carcass is done, game over, GG. No pun intended. So as she does that, you know, the worm spits out the Keto family, and the Keto's family is like, oh, just know that whatever comes next is your fault. It was us that was keeping everyone safe by feeding sacrificial lambs to the worm. The worm kept the volcano in check, and we kept everybody safe and happy. You know, it was a small price to pay for essentially to save everyone's lives. So obviously, no longer after they said that, the earth starts to shake and stuff, and when you know, the volcano is getting ready to erupt. Now, in order to solve this next issue with the volcano, Momo has to recall a conversation that she had with the guy at the shrine, you know, and the guy at the shrine explained to her how legends tend to get twisted as time passes along. So, you know, these people now, they have this major legend going on, but it turns out they got the wording all wrong. And it's a lot like that telephone game, you know. And if you know what telephone game is, it's when you start off and you whisper something into one person's ear and you tell them to pass it down. And then by the time it passes around to everyone, you find out that the message that you started off with is different. And it was the kind of same thing in this, you know. This situation, it had a legend about a dragon and a rainbow, but the people had got it twisted, and they really misinterpreted the meaning simply because they weren't passing it down the correct way. Momo really takes note of that, and she realizes that instead of a dragon and a rainbow, what it's really referring to is a geyser, or, you know, in this sense, like a hot spring. And so she realizes that in order to kind of quell the volcano, she's going to have to make use of that. And so what she does next is kind of hilarious. So obviously, you know, she's going to have a hard time getting water to the volcano. And so she has the idea to turn the worm's body into a long hose in which she can funnel the water from the geyser to the volcano. So she takes the worm, slaps him on the geyser, the hose, she's got her hose connected, and now she's going to attempt to kind of put this fire out. As she does this, it kind of just ends there, so you really don't know what's going to happen or if the plan's going to work. But in theory, I mean, it sounds pretty sound, right? You know, anime logic, manga logic. It seems goofy, but there's also part of you that's like, that could work. This chapter really wasn't, besides that, this chapter really wasn't too eventful. You know, we didn't really get a lot of action. We didn't really get to see if my man Okarun is going to really make it out of there. But, yeah, we really don't know what comes next. If you're really not familiar with Dandadan, it's very interesting in the sense that it has a little bit of everything. It's got love, you know, it's got that whole will they, won't they thing going on between Momo and Okarun. Then you got Gigi, who just been added to the mix, who also loves Momo. But then on the other side, you got old girl, who also loves Okarun. So it's just like this revolving circle. It's got that. It's got great action, and it's got a few moments in there that's really going to make you laugh. This is one I'm really into, and I really haven't reviewed it on the channel simply because I'm into so many anime that it's really hard for me to just be able to be like, okay, I'm going to sit down and review everything I'm into. It's very difficult. And not only that, you know, you don't know who's into what. So I could be making these videos and people like just really not give a damn because there's nobody reading it. This one scares me a little bit because I think it's really good, but I also know that it's one that's found in Shonen Jump, and Shonen Jump has a history of pulling the plug on things you might really enjoy. If they say, hey, it's not stolen enough, we're not going to leave it in here, we'll get rid of it. But you know what? After thinking about it for a little bit, I was kind of like, screw it. You know what? Screw it. I enjoy it. If there's someone else out there enjoy it, they might get some joy out of these reviews, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. That's where we're at now. So in terms of what I think is coming next, I don't know, but I'm telling you now, I really hope that Momo and Okudun just kind of get out of each other's way and just confess already, you know? You keep adding all these elements where every time they want to just come out and say, hey, I love you, there's always someone in the way, you know? It finally took Okudun a while to realize how he felt about Momo, but he didn't realize that until he seen how she was with Gigi, you know? And sometimes you kind of need that kick in the butt where it's like, yo, if you don't make the move, man, somebody else is going to get your girl. And so he's at that point. And obviously we as readers know that he really cares for her, but man, stop dragging your feet and get to it, son. Get to it. And so now he's at that situation where he's not only really kind of on the cusp of confessing to her, but he's also standing up for her honor. He knows that Gigi himself would never really attack her, but obviously Gigi's possessed by the evil eye demon. And so my man Okudun was not feeling some of the stuff he had to say about Momo and some of the ways he was treating her. And so he's standing up with her. He's standing up for her honor. And so hopefully she can get him out. In terms of the direction, I feel like they're kind of building this weird superhuman, supernatural team. Obviously, they've already had 3 people on the team that's got supernatural abilities. Obviously, they're going to, at some point, they're going to quote this demon that's in Gigi, but I feel like he too is going to be able to keep the abilities, and then they're going to have a 4th person. So they're building like this weird kind of Dandadan Avengers team almost, but I'm very interested to see what's going to happen. But you know, first things first. First, she's got to take care of this volcano, then she's got to get them out of there, and then we'll see what's coming. But other than that, you know, that's pretty much going to do it for the review. If you enjoyed the review, go ahead and smash that like button. If not, I'm sorry. And listen, I'm getting better. I'm working on these things. Sometimes it's just really hard to translate my thoughts, and you might not always agree with what I say. But if you don't, let's talk about it in the comments. I enjoy this nerd stuff. If you're watching this, you probably enjoy it too. And the only thing I'm missing is somebody to talk about this stuff with. So go ahead and comment on the video, and I will always respond. All right, you will always get a response from me. I promise. Other than that, that's going to do it. As always, I'm your boy Heroes Come Back 2. Do great, be great. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.